Well, where do we start with the Indian Grand Prix weekend? It was a weekend filled with plenty of drama and talking points across all classes, but we're here to talk about the MotoGP class, and there is plenty for us to analyse after that weekend. Now, of course, the first race we've had in India ever in Grand Prix level, and overall I was pretty pleased with how the races went and how the weekend went as a whole. I thought the track is very interesting. I think it's a really fun track to watch. Yes, the racing maybe wasn't as great as we've seen at other tracks, but I think for a first time and the challenges it was faced with India and you getting this Grand Prix on, I think they've done a fantastic job. And yeah, I think as we keep going back there in the future, hopefully it'll be just as good, if not better. And yeah, we just had to give a shout out to Marco Bezzecchi, the Grand Prix winner. He would have won the sprint race on Saturday if he didn't get taken out by his teammate Luca Marini at turn 1, but his pace yesterday was just sensational in the race. Put it on screen now for you. We shared it across our social medias as well. Look at that pace. Set his fastest lap on the third lap, and it just tells you everything about where Bezzecchi was the weekend. He was so comfortable. Yeah, a phenomenal ride, and he is firmly in this world title fight. And that is where we're going to switch it to now, because Pecco Bagnaia, yet again, it seems that like every other 5 races or so, Bagnaia has this crash. And he admits it was a mistake. He was sitting in a second place, a very comfortable second place. He had gapped Jorge Martin, and yeah, it looked like he was just going to stabilise that sort of period that he's had where he's lost points to Martin in every race since Catalunya. Yeah, just lost the front. I do think that he went for the harder front tyre, which was a benefit for him, but he knew the risk, as it wouldn't have been like the medium tyre like the other Ducati riders picked. It suited Bagnaia to go for the hard. It was working up until he crashed. But yeah, this world title's very close. There's only 44 points covering the top 3. Martin's only 13 points off Bagnaia in second. We've got a world championship fight. And yeah, speaking about Jorge Martin, he won the sprint race. I didn't think he had the pace to win the sprint race because of how strong Bezzecchi would have been. But obviously, he took advantage of Bezzecchi getting taken out in the sprint race and delivered the victory there. He finished second yesterday, but there were so many talking points with Martin's race. Battled with Bagnaia early on. He made a real aggressive overtake at the end of the back straight as he went into turn 4. And then it cut to the onboards, and it seemed that his zipper was down on his leather suit. It wasn't a malfunction. I don't think so. I think it was Martin zipping it down to stay cool in the race, as it was so hot in the conditions when they were racing. He then, it appears when I was watching the broadcast, that he got a dashboard message from either the team or race direction telling him to zip the suit back up so he wouldn't get a penalty. He actually did do that and lost a little bit of time, but it was really impressive to see him zip it up and just continue as normal. And that brought Fabio Quartararo closer to him. And then we got to the final lap, and he was sitting in a safe second place. He had like a 1.8 second gap to Quartararo. He then outbraked himself at the end of the back straight, and Quartararo then got past. But then Martin sent an unbelievable round the outside move going into the middle sector of the track, got second place back, and was able to hold off Quartararo. And then even after the race, he pretty much fainted in Parc Ferme because of the heat and the exhaustion. And yeah, it was just a roller coaster weekend for Martin, but like I say, a second place and a first place in the sprint, and a great start to the flyaways. And with Bagnaia DNFing in the main Grand Prix, it's perfect for him and the momentum that he can carry into these next rounds. Touched on it there, Fabio Quartararo back on the podium. I suppose it goes for all the manufacturers, especially the Japanese ones. We came into this weekend into the unknown, and no one had ever been to this track, or the amount of data gathering for the teams was so limited that they were going into each session pretty much fresh and just new to everything, and it showed. Yamaha looked good under Quartararo. Honda, especially the Repsol Hondas, they had their best weekend of the season. Marc Marquez finished third in the sprint after qualifying on the second row. Joan Mir was on the second row as well. He actually out-qualified Marquez, but then he crashed out of the sprint. Then going into the Grand Prix, Marquez was fighting for the top 3. He crashed at turn 1. Was able to rejoin, went right back to 16th or 17th, and was able to fight back through to 9th. Showed fantastic pace. Joan Mir finishing inside the top 5, his best result for Honda, and just fantastic to see he is still Joan Mir of old. You know, the talent is always going to be there, and the track really did play into his hands. He adapted very well. Going into a new track certainly helped him, but I hope it's given Mir a real confidence boost going into this weekend in Japan. This title fight is heating up nicely now. I don't know who's going to win this. I still think, you know, the 3 Ducati riders of Bagnaia, Martin and Bezzecchi are the standout 3. Brad Binder is just around 100 points off. I think it's a bit too much for him. He had a good weekend as well. It's really heating up nicely, and I think that there's going to be even more twists and turns as we get towards the finale of this season. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this race. Love to hear your thoughts. Make sure to follow us on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel here. We will see you next time.